It begins with a sound most families never want the world to hear. A grown woman sobbing, not from sadness alone, but from the kind of betrayal that makes your ribs hurt when you breathe. The camera is too close to her face. You can see every tear, every tremor in her jaw. Her eyeliner is smeared, her hair pinned back like she gave up halfway through trying to look presentable. She's not on stage. She's not in a studio. She's on a couch that looks too big for her, wrapped in a blanket like she's trying to hold herself together. This is Jade Rivers, the daughter the world thinks it knows. And tonight's title says it all. Just a few nights ago, this same family had already blown up the internet. Jade had stormed off a live taping after an ugly on-set argument with her mother, the matriarch, Lorraine Rivers. Lorraine had accused her in that cold, cutting tone. "You've forgotten who made you, girl." The sisters, Mariah and Tessa, stood frozen on the stage, torn between their loyalty to the woman who raised them and the sister who finally chose herself. Back then, the drama was already bad enough. We saw the leaked dressing room footage where Lorraine allegedly told producers, "If she walks, the Rivers name walks with her." The blogs picked it up. Fans took sides. Hashtags. Think pieces. Even an old clip of Lorraine saying, "Family first, everything else second," went viral as people debated whether she still lived by those words. But tonight is different. Because in the last 24 hours, a new accusation has dropped, the kind that doesn't just hurt feelings, it rewrites history. A quiet post, a whispered claim, a source close to the family telling a story that, if true, could shatter everything Jade thought she knew about her mother, her money, and her place in this family. And now Jade is live, shaking, staring into the camera. "I can't do this anymore," she whispers. Somewhere in this house of secrets, someone pressed send on a message they can never take back. The notification hits millions of phones at once. Jade Rivers is live. There's no intro music, no sponsor tag, no polished overlay, just Jade on her couch, knees pulled up under her, a glass of something untouched on the table beside her. For a long moment, she doesn't say a word. She just stares at the comments rolling in. "Are you okay? Did you see what Lorraine said? What's the truth, Jade? We're listening." She inhales, steady but shaky, like someone about to jump into cold water. Her fingers clutch the edge of a pillow. Her eyes are already wet. "You all saw it," she says finally, voice cracking. "You saw the headline. You heard what she implied." The chat explodes. Because just hours earlier, a major entertainment outlet had dropped a bombshell story. Matriarch Lorraine Rivers suggests daughter stole from the family in explosive off-camera rant. The article claimed that after the last taping, Lorraine was heard telling a producer, "Jade took what wasn't hers and walked. She left the rest of us to pick up the pieces." The line on its own sounded like drama, but the outlet went further, saying a family insider alleged that Jade had emptied a shared account that was meant for the family brand, not just for her. Tonight, Jade is done letting that version of events stand. "Stole?" She laughs, but there's no humor in it. "Stole from who? From the same people who've been cashing checks with my face on them for 20 years? Her hand trembles as she wipes her cheek. "You want the truth? Fine. Let's talk about money, since that's what we're doing now." Meanwhile, in a quiet part of town, Lorraine is sitting in her formal living room, the one with the white sofa nobody ever sits on unless cameras are rolling. The TV is muted, but her phone is lit up with notifications. One of the cousins has already messaged, "Auntie, she's live, you need to see this." Lorraine doesn't click yet. She just sits, lips pressed tight, that familiar steel in her spine. She has been the head of this family for decades. She's survived broke years, bad contracts, shady managers. She did things she's not proud of to keep food on the table and the lights on. And now her own child is on the internet, making her sound like the enemy. On Jade's live, the comments are flying so fast you almost can't read them. "She's shaking, y'all. This is different. She's really hurt. She's about to spill everything. I feel it." Jade reaches over and picks up her phone within a phone, the one she's scrolling on while she's streaming from her laptop. "You know what kills me? she says quietly. I found out about this stealing accusation like y'all did. Through a link. She taps a screenshot and holds it up for a split second, just long enough for people to catch the headline at the top of her messages. Not a call, not a text, not, hey baby, I'm upset, we need to talk, just, this. Someone screen records it instantly. Within minutes. That clip will be chopped up, slowed down, zoomed in on. People will pause the frame to read the exact timestamp, the exact wording of the article. They'll ask, who sent it to her first? And circle the blurred name at the top of the thread. Theories are already writing themselves. And somewhere, quietly, another person close to the Rivers clan is composing a DM to a gossip page. You want the real story? It's not what y'all think. Lorraine's been controlling the money since day one. The gossip page replies with a single message. Prove it. Back on the live, Jade is fully in it now. No more choking back the tears. No more swallowing the story to protect the woman who keeps wounding her. You know that family account they keep talking about? She asks. The one they say I drained? Let me tell you, when I first heard the words family account, she stares at the camera with a look that blends anger with something softer, more fragile. I was 22. And I'd just signed my first solo deal. I thought I was finally going to see checks with only my name on them. I was so proud. I went to Mama and said, I want to buy my own place. You know what she told me? Baby, everything you have is because of this family. Your money is family money. People in the chat begin typing long comments, reflecting on their own mothers, their own sacrifices, their own resentments. She said there was a shared account where all the big money went, Jade continues. She said it was safer that way. That nobody could run off and leave the rest behind. And because I was raised to believe Mama sacrifices for us, I said okay. I signed what she told me to sign. She closes her eyes for a moment, visibly fighting off a wave of emotion. I didn't even read it, she whispers. That's the part that haunts me. I trusted her. As she speaks, the gossip page that got that DM earlier posts a blurry screenshot. It looks like a scanned document. Rivers Family Entertainment Holdings Agreement. Some lines are highlighted. You can't read the numbers, but you can see the words, Power of Attorney, and Primary Signatory, Lorraine Rivers. They caption it, if this is real, Jade never had control over her own funds. The post goes viral in minutes. Jade doesn't know yet that the world is already seeing the paperwork she once signed blindly. She leans closer to the camera, her voice low, intimate, like she's confiding in a friend at a kitchen table. They're saying I stole, she says. But what I did was transfer what was already mine into an account with my own name on it. I finally took back what I worked for, and now the narrative is, she robbed her family. The chat is split. Some people type, that's still messed up if it was agreed for everyone, while others write, your mama was using you as an ATM. And then, a new message pops up on the live. A username the fans recognize. Tessa Official has joined. The peacemaker sister. The one who usually stays out of the mess. The one who posts Bible verses and recipe videos instead of subtweets and shade. The chat goes wild. Tessa here. Omge. She watching this in real time. Is she finally picking a side? For a moment, Jade's eyes dart to the corner of the screen. She sees it too. Her lip trembles. Tessa, she says under her breath, more to herself than to the audience. The comments start flooding in, tagging Tessa, demanding she say something. And then, one silent, deadly little comment appears, pinned automatically by engagement before Jade even realizes it. Jade, why are you leaving out the part where Mama saved you when you messed up that first deal? It's from Tessa's account. The air in the live changes instantly. The betrayal, the shock, the sting of being called out publicly by your own sister, it's all written on Jade's face, plain as day. She stares at the screen. You really gonna do this here? She whispers. The comments explode. This family is wild. Not the sister calling her out in the comments. We need Tessa to go live too. Jade leans forward, eyes blazing. voice shaking with that particular mix of hurt and fury only siblings can cause. "You want to talk about what Mama saved me from," she says. "Fine, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the secret deal nobody was supposed to know about. The one where I found out exactly how much my name was worth and who was cashing in behind my back." The chat is clawing for every word now. Because if Jade really tells it, there's no going back. And somewhere, watching from that pristine white living room, Lorraine Rivers realizes the one thing she never thought her daughter would say out loud is about to become public record. The story she prayed would stay buried. The one that, if told correctly, could turn the whole world against her. Jade's hand is visibly shaking now, but she doesn't stop. "You remember when I disappeared for a while?" she asks the audience, voice taking on that eerie calm that comes after you've cried all the tears you can cry. "When I said I was taking a break to focus on my mental health?" The chat fills with yeses, heart emojis, crying faces. "I wasn't just on a break," she says. "I was fighting with my own family to get my name back." She picks up her phone again, scrolling. You can tell she's looking for something specific. "I got an email," she says, "years ago, from a lawyer I didn't know, representing a company I'd never heard of. They said, 'We're excited to move forward with the second phase of the deal.' And I wrote back, 'What deal?' She lets that hang in the air. Come to find out, a contract had been signed, in my name, for my likeness, my music, my appearances, long-term, locking me in. But the signature on it?" She looks straight into the camera. "It wasn't mine." The chat explodes with caps-locked comments. "What? Forged signature? Who signed it then?" On another tab, that same gossip blog drops a new post, a side-by-side of two signatures. One, clearly written by Jade on an old magazine cover. The other, a scanned scribble from an alleged contract. They don't quite match. The caption, "This what she's talking about?" Back on the live, Jade's breathing is uneven. "I took it to a lawyer," she says. "A real one. Not one recommended by the family. And he looked at me and said, 'Whoever signed this thought you'd never question it.'" Her voice gets smaller. "And do y'all know whose name was on the line above mine?" She swallows. "Lorraine Rivers." Gasps flood the chat. Some defend Lorraine immediately. She probably signed as manager. Parents sign for their kids all the time. Others aren't so gentle. Not Mama signing her child's life away. So she been using her like a check. Somewhere, in a group chat that includes 3 cousins and an aunt, someone types, "She's telling too much," while someone else replies, "She's telling her truth. Y'all just mad it's not flattering." On the live, Jade wipes her face and keeps going. "When I confronted her," she says, "I expected, I don't know, an apology, an explanation, something. You know what she told me?" The chat slows, as if collectively leaning in. "She said, 'You weren't ready to be making those decisions. I did what needed to be done for the family.'" Her eyes glisten. "For the family. Always for the family. Never for me." And then she drops the sentence that makes even the people who aren't on anyone's side sit up straighter. "She looked me in my face and said, 'You act like you got here by yourself.'" There's a beat of silence. "My own mother," Jade whispers, basically telling me I owed her my life, that my talent belonged to her. Like my voice was a down payment on the bills from the past. The comments are now full of women pouring their hearts out. This is my mama all over again. Some of us were raised by women who loved us, but owned us. I feel sick hearing this because it's so familiar. And then, just as Jade is about to say more, her phone vibrates violently on the table. She glances down, and for a split second, the camera catches the screen. "Mama," flashing across it. The entire live freezes into one collective, sharp inhale. Jade stares at the name. Her thumb hovers. The chat is screaming. "Answer it. Don't answer that call. Put it on speaker." She lets it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. The sound echoes in the quiet of her house and in the hearts of everyone watching. Finally, the ringing stops. A new notification appears at the top of her screen. One new voicemail from Mama. Jade looks back into the camera with eyes that no longer look like a performer's. They look like a little girl's. "I guess we're leaving voicemails now," she says softly. And before anyone can catch their breath, another alert flashes across feeds worldwide. Breaking anonymous source claims Jade was not the only child whose signature appeared on suspicious contracts. The caption beneath it, "They say one of the sisters signed too, and then pretended she didn't know." The live keeps streaming. But from this moment on, everyone knows. This is no longer just about mother and daughter. This is about sister against sister, and the receipts that might prove one of them has been lying the whole time. By the time the sun goes down the next day, the internet is no longer talking about Jade alone. It's talking about the entire Rivers dynasty. On X, Rivers family is trending. TikTok is full of split-screen videos. On one side, clips from old reality show episodes where the family laughed and hugged on camera. On the other, Jade's tearful live from last night. People are calling it the fall of America's favorite musical family. And in the middle of this storm, a new post appears. It's from Mariah Rivers, the eldest sister, the one with the solo gospel career, the one who has always preached unity and forgiveness. The post is a simple black background with white text. "Loyalty is hard when your heart is split in 3 directions." No tags, no names, but everyone knows exactly what it means. The comments are full of fans begging for clarity. "Stop being cryptic, girl. What's the truth? Did Mama sign your contracts too? Are you with Jade or with Lorraine?" Mariah doesn't reply. But someone else does. A blue-check verified account belonging to a well-known R&B legend, a longtime friend of Lorraine's, leaves a comment that sends the blogs into overdrive. "Y'all don't know what these mothers sacrificed. Some of your faves wouldn't exist if not for Lorraine." People screenshot it, share it, argue about it. One tweet stands out. "Here they go, closing ranks like they always do. Protect the matriarch at all costs." But behind closed doors, the matriarch is anything but protected. Lorraine is pacing in her kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, as a longtime business associate tries to calm her down. "You need to get ahead of this," he says. "Do an interview, release a statement, something. You can't let her control the narrative." Lorraine's voice is low, dangerous. "She is my child," she says. "I am not about to sit in some stranger's studio and argue with my child through a camera." "But that's exactly what she's doing to you," he counters. "And trust me, right now the world believes her." She hangs up without answering. Because there's something bigger gnawing at her insides. She knows. She knows those contracts exist. She knows the deals she signed in desperation, the percentages she justified to herself, the names she wrote on dotted lines while telling herself it was for their future. And buried beneath all that is another secret. One she swore she would take to her grave. Across town, Jade sits at her kitchen table, scrolling through her phone. Her live from the night before has been reposted, clipped, dissected. People are pulling lines out of context, questioning her mental health, her motives, her timing. She sees a comment that stops her cold. Funny how she waited to call this out until her solo tour flopped. The words sting, not because they're true, but because they echo something her own mother once said in a moment of anger. "You only mad because the world ain't spinning around you no more." Her hands shake as she opens her messages. There's one new DM request sitting at the top from a burner account with no profile picture. She clicks it. Inside are 3 photos. The first is a scan of her old contract, the one with the forged signature. The second is a scan of another contract, but this one has Mariah's name on it. The third makes Jade's blood run cold. It's a handwritten note, photographed on what looks like hotel stationery. In scrawled familiar handwriting, it reads, "We did what we had to do. She'll forgive us when she's older. Don't tell Tessa." There's no signature underneath, but Jade knows that handwriting as well as she knows her own. It's Lorraine's. A message from the anonymous sender follows. "If you're going to tell it, tell all of it. She didn't do this alone." Jade's heart pounds, because the implication is clear. Mariah was involved. Someone close to the family is not just leaking now, they're trying to blow the entire house down. Meanwhile, Mariah is sitting on her own couch, watching a daytime talk show host tear her family apart segment by segment. They built their brand on unity, the host says, on sisterhood, on faith. Now we're hearing stories of forged contracts, financial control, and emotional manipulation. Is this just what happens when families do business together? Or is there something more sinister at play? The studio audience murmurs. A guest panelist, another famous mother from reality TV, chimes in. Look, I know these women. I know Lorraine. She is tough, but she loves those girls. Y'all don't understand the pressure of having kids in the spotlight. Sometimes you make decisions in survival mode. The other panelist, a younger, outspoken actress, shoots back. Survival mode doesn't give you the right to own your children. There's a difference between protecting your kids and profiting off them. The clip is instantly posted online with the caption, "Even other reality families are weighing in." Mariah turns off the TV. Because the real story isn't on that screen. It's in her email. Months ago, before any of this, she received a message from a lawyer she trusted, warning her that if the truth about certain contracts ever came out, there could be legal consequences not just for Lorraine, but for anyone who knowingly benefited. She'd read it in the dark, alone, with her heart pounding. And then she did what Rivers women have always done. She stayed silent. Now silence is no longer an option. Her phone buzzes. A text from Jade. I know about the second contract. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Mariah's thumbs hover. She types, deletes, types again. Finally, she sends one line. Don't do this here. Jade's reply is instant. You already did, when you stayed quiet. Back online, a new piece of content drops that sends shockwaves through the fandom. A fan account posts an old behind-the-scenes clip from the family's first reality show. In it, a much younger Jade is shown crying in a dressing room, saying, I don't want to do the scene. I'm tired. Lorraine appears in the doorway, half whispering, half scolding. Baby, we need this. Just get through it. You want that house you keep talking about? This is how. For years, fans had seen that moment as tough love. Now, in the context of everything else, it looks like something uglier. The caption reads, This hit different now. Comments pour in from women who were pushed, stretched, guilt-tripped in the name of the greater good. In the middle of this digital wildfire, an exclusive hits one of the bigger entertainment sites. Source: Jade not Lorraine's only victim of contract control. In the article, an unnamed insider claims that when the girls were younger, Mariah once confronted their mother about a royalty statement that didn't seem right. The insider says, Lorraine allegedly replied, Do you want to sing, or do you want to do math? Because you can't do both. The line is so sharp, so specific, it feels true, whether it is or not. It cuts across timelines, reminding daughters everywhere of the ways they were told to stay in their lane when they questioned who held the power. While the world chews on that, another voice enters the chat. Tessa, the one who left that comment on Jade's live. She finally goes live herself, face bare, hair wrapped, anxiety practically vibrating off her. I wasn't going to say anything, she says, eyes darting around like she's afraid someone is listening from the next room. But I think people are twisting what's really going on. I think people are trying to make my mama into a monster and my sister into a saint. And it's just not that simple. Thousands join instantly. The chat is full of demands. Did mama sign your contracts too? Did you know about the forgery? Are you covering up for her? Tessa sighs. There was a time, she says, when all 3 of us would sit on that floor right there, she points off camera, and count every check together. We didn't know what we were looking at. We just trusted that mama did. Her voice softens. She raised us on fear. Fear of being broke again. Fear of failing. Fear of going back to the roaches and the eviction notices. So when she said, sign this, we signed. We learned early. Don't ask too many questions. Tears gather in her eyes. But asking 0 questions? That's how we ended up here. The comments blow up with people thanking her for finally speaking, for being honest. Then someone drops a question that knocks the breath out of her. Did you ever benefit from a deal that was supposed to be Jade's? She pauses, looks away, licks her lips. It's the kind of pause that says more than any denial ever could. Money came into the house, she says slowly. Sometimes we didn't know whose name was on it. Sometimes we did. But we all ate. We all wore the clothes. We all lived in the house. So, if you're asking if I benefited, she trails off, eyes glistening. How do you not benefit when you're in the family? There it is. The quiet confession no one will ever forget. Before the chat can even fully process it, a notification appears at the top of her screen. Incoming call. Jade. Her eyes widen. I can't answer that right now, she whispers. But she doesn't end the live. She stares at the flashing name like it's a ghost. And then, overlaid on top of everything, another notification slides down. Breaking. Lawyer confirms documents being reviewed for potential fraud investigation in River's case. Tessa's eyes flit to it for a second before she jerks the phone away from the camera. The chat explodes. Fraud investigation? Jail time? This went from messy to criminal. Is this why everyone's talking now? Tessa's lips part like she wants to deny it, to say it's fake news. But she doesn't. She just whispers one sentence that chills everyone watching. I told them this was bigger than ratings. Her screen goes black. The live ends abruptly. And within seconds, the clip is everywhere. Especially that last line. Because now it's confirmed. Whatever is coming next is not just about hurt feelings. It's about legal consequences. And nothing makes people talk like the threat of losing everything. That night, a storm sits heavy over the city. The kind that rattles windows and makes old houses groan. Inside one of those houses, the Rivers family is gathered for what used to be called family meeting, and now feels more like a pre-trial conference. Lorraine sits at the head of the dining table, back straight, chin raised, that same unshakable presence that held this entire family together for decades. Only now, the strain is visible in the lines around her mouth, in the tightness of her jaw, in the way her hands grip the edge of her chair. Jade sits to her right, arms folded, eyes red but steady. Mariah is across from her, fingers laced together so tightly her knuckles are white. Tessa is at the far end, eyes darting between them all, like a child caught in a thunderstorm with no umbrella. There are no cameras, no producers, just blood. So, Lorraine says finally, voice low. Y'all done? Her daughters exchange glances. Done with what? Jade asks quietly. Done dragging this family's name through the mud? Lorraine's eyes flash. Done airing our business for people who don't even like you? Done letting strangers in our house? Jade laughs a short, bitter sound. Our house, she repeats. You mean the one my deals paid for? Mariah flinches. Lorraine's nostrils flare. You watch your tone, she snaps. Or what? Jade shoots back. You going to sign something in my name again? You going to go on another show and talk about how I stole from you? The air crackles. For a moment, no one breathes. Then Mariah leans forward. Can we not? She whispers. Please, just, can we try to talk without tearing each other apart? Jade turns on her. Oh, now you want peace? She demands. Where was this energy when you read that contract? And kept your mouth shut? Mariah's eyes fill. I didn't know what I was looking at, she says softly. I asked Mama. And she told you what? Jade interrupts. That it was for the family? That she knew best? The silence that follows is answer enough. Tessa finally speaks, voice small. Jade, we were scared. So was I, Jade says. Difference is, I was scared and exploited. Lorraine slams her hand on the table. Don't you dare, she hisses. Don't you dare stand in my face and call yourself exploited when I broke my back to make sure you never knew what real struggle was. Maybe if I had, Jade mutters, I would have learned to stand on my own 2 feet sooner. Lorraine stands abruptly, chair scraping the floor. You wouldn't have a foot to stand on if it wasn't for me. Her voice shakes the room. You think those people wanted you without me? You think any of those labels, those shows, those endorsements cared about you and your little songs? They cared about the river's name. The one I built. The one I bled for. And you want to cry about a signature? Jade rises too, eyes blazing with a fire we haven't seen in her before. It's not just a signature, she says. It's my life. You signed away years of my life. You got paid, Lorraine snaps. You got famous. You got everything you begged for. And what did you get? Jade asks coolly. How many percentages nobody told me about? How many management fees? How many overhead costs? Be honest for once in your life. Did you ever, even one time, put something in my name before yours? The question hangs in the air like a knife. Lorraine opens her mouth, closes it. Mariah starts crying. You all act like this was easy, Lorraine finally says, voice cracking. Like I wasn't a single mother with 3 little girls, and nothing but a dream and a prayer. Like I didn't sit at kitchen tables with men who wanted to eat you alive and say, you will not take advantage of my babies. And then you did it yourself, Jade says, voice barely above a whisper. Lorraine's eyes flash with hurt, real and deep. I did what I had to do, she says. We would have lost everything if I hadn't made those deals. Or, Jade counters, you could have trusted me enough to let me choose. Tessa's quiet sobs are the only sound for a moment. Then, from the doorway, a new voice speaks. I warned you this would happen. They all turn. Standing there is a man they all know too well. Victor, the family's longtime attorney, the one who has been in their lives since before the fame, before the shows, before the contracts. He steps into the room, closing the door behind him. I told you, Lorraine, he says gently. These arrangements were going to come back around. Back when they were kids, you could make choices, and they had to live with them. They're not kids anymore. Lorraine bristles. You here to take their side now, she asks. I'm here, Victor says carefully, because there's an investigation opening. And they asked for documents. All of them. The daughters go still. What kind of investigation? Mariah whispers. The kind, Victor says, that wants to know who signed what, and whether everyone who signed knew what they were signing. Jade looks at her mother. Did you know, she asks. Did you know it could come to this? Lorraine's eyes shine with unshed tears. I knew, she says quietly, that one day y'all would hate me for the choices I made. I just didn't know it would be in front of millions of people. She looks at Victor. Who gave them the documents? Victor hesitates. That's complicated, he says. You? She asks, voice dangerously soft. No, he says firmly. Not me. He glances at the daughters. It was someone with access to the family archive. Someone who knew what they were looking for. The sisters exchange a look. The family archive is in one place. The Rivers estate. Under lock and key. Lorraine's face shifts slowly, realization dawning. Not in my house, she whispers. Nobody goes in that room but me. Victor doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. Because they all know there's one more person who has always had a key. Someone they never considered a threat. Someone who's been quietly in the background for years. Watching, listening, filing away every secret. Lorraine's voice is a hoarse whisper. Your aunt, she says. And before anyone can react, before anyone can defend, accuse, or deny, phones across the room begin to buzz at once. A new notification. From a popular talk show page. Tomorrow night. Special exclusive. I was there when the deals were signed. Rivers Family Insider goes public, with receipts. The teaser image? A familiar silhouette. An older woman's profile. Aunt Denise. Her caption? I kept quiet for decades. Not anymore. If you're still here, heart pounding, chest tight, seeing pieces of your own story in theirs, you already know this is more than a celebrity scandal. This is every messy Sunday dinner that ended in tears. Every phone call you didn't answer. Every time you asked, did you love me, or did you own me? You've watched Jade finally say the things so many daughters swallow to keep the peace. You've watched Lorraine stand on a mountain of sacrifices and still feel like no one sees her heart. You've seen sisters caught in the crossfire between loyalty and truth. between the mother who raised them and the sister who is bleeding in public so she can heal in private. And now, with Aunt Denise stepping into the spotlight, promising receipts, promising her version of what really happened behind closed doors, you know one thing for sure: this story is nowhere near finished. There are contracts we haven't seen yet, conversations we haven't heard, nights when voices were raised and pens were put to paper that will finally be dragged into the light. So don't just click away like this is some random headline you'll forget tomorrow. If this hit you in the gut, if you've ever felt torn between loving your mother and protecting your sanity, if you've ever watched siblings split over money, control, and secrets buried so deep nobody wants to dig them up, then you need to stay right here with us. Tap that like button so this episode reaches the women who will see themselves in Jade's tears and Lorraine's silence, in Mariah's conflict and Tessa's shaking voice. Drop a comment and tell us where you stand tonight. Do you think Lorraine is a survivor making desperate choices, or a mother who crossed unforgivable lines? Do you believe Jade is finally reclaiming her life, or burning the whole house down to do it? And most importantly, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications, because the next time this family goes live, when Aunt Denise sits down under those studio lights with a stack of papers and says, "I was there," the entire story could flip. We might find out who really controlled the money, who really forged signatures, who really lied, and who has been telling the truth this whole time. You do not want to hear about that from someone else. You want to be here the moment the receipts drop, watching with the rest of us as decades of secrets finally come undone. So like, comment, subscribe. Because in this family, the drama isn't over. It's just getting started.